Every music venue has a story, a culture, and each is a portal to discovery. Kyle Lamont, host and producer of ConcertCast, is your guide on a journey through today's concert culture. Season 1, A Road Trip Around Maine, was released in the wake of a global pandemic. Rocked by the cataclysmic shift, Lamont began to document the movement. In Season 2, we'll connect deeper with thought leaders who are creatively adapting and recalibrating the next rendition of concert-going and culture. In this episode, Lamont takes you to a drive-in concert in Farmington, Maine, to talk with the Mallett Brothers Band, plus their fans, and the owner of the drive-in to experience what it's like to safely enjoy a concert from your car.
We've all been there. On a road trip, driving along your merry way, bop into the music, you're in cruise control, all relaxed, and then, all of a sudden, you see a detour sign and you have to take an alternative route. Immediately, you feel flustered. Like, what the F? This is going to be a mess. Will I get lost? Will I show up late? You spiral. But then, being the courteous citizen that you are, you follow the signs and cross your fingers they lead you back on track. Because is there really any other option? The metaphor for live music venues being closed right now couldn't be more striking. And ironically, it's sort of what happened on my road trip from Ellsworth to Farmington. I was distraught at first, but then embraced the moment because what else could I do? The route ended up being gorgeous. Rolling green hills, farm country for days, and lots of little general stores. I'm obsessed with little general stores. I made it to Farmington with time to wander through the woods and decompress from the ride. Sun shone from the trees like little rays from heaven. The smell of sweet Maine was intoxicating, and I was rewarded with a hidden yet very humble waterfall. Afterwards, I got back into my chariot and drove down Main Street in search of narrow-gauge cinema, which was not hard to find. Farmington is home to Maine's current governor and is a UMaine college town. Normally buzzing with hormonal co-eds, COVID's silencing was audible. As I pulled into the brand new parking lot at the cinema, fans were lining up in their cars, which felt a lot like waiting to get into the grounds at a music festival. And while fans mingled in a new socially distant way, sweet sounds of music beckoned me. I followed it. And as I turned the corner, I was taken aback by a wide open field of bright green grass and a jaw-dropping view of Rangeley Mountain. The sweet sounds were coming from the Mallett Brothers Band, who were warming up with a psychedelic jam. Listening to their rhythmic and hypnotic guitar licks with pulsing drum beats while the sun kissed my cheeks reminded me of daylight dancing at my first music festival, Wakarusa. The only things missing were noodle dancers, clouds of ganja smoke, a maze of hula hoopers, wild totem poles, and people standing shoulder to shoulder. I closed my eyes to take in the vibes. When you close your eyes at a concert, what do you see? This music had me riding a big slide, like the kind at a water park. But there was no water, rather air, time, and space. I was going in and out of bright pockets of nostalgia and dark nothingness. It was fun and it was enlightening. I love how music can create images behind your eyes, and it felt so good to feel the bass massaging my feet. When the jam came to a close, my ride was over and I reluctantly opened my eyes. And it was then when it hit me that this was my first concert since February. It was now time to grab my recording gear and meet Luke, the lead singer of the band. I was a bit tongue-tied after months of no socializing, but the band members' personalities immediately put me at ease. I set up our interview in front of the massive screen, which is 28 by 64 feet, and I used my XLR cord as a way to maintain social distance between us. Luke and his amber-colored beard were glowing, backlit by the setting sun.
And we're rolling. Hot mic.
Perfect.
Okay. So how are you feeling after sound check?
Really good after soundcheck. And this is night 2, so we already kind of know what we're in for. But last night was definitely a little bit nerve-wracking. It took a minute to get in the groove, I guess. But after that was over with, this is easy. Today's easy.
What do you mean get into the groove?
Well, it's been a while. Since March, we've played 2 private, like, outdoor gigs for very small groups of people. And other than that, we took about 3 months off, straight up off. We didn't see each other. We didn't do anything. We all kind of just posted up at home. And then we started getting back in the studio around the beginning of June, I guess. And since then, we've been in the studio like 3-4 days a week. So that's been good. We've been doing a lot of that, but it's a very different thing than the live show, which we were kind of killing ourselves doing for 10 years, 4 or 5 nights a week, every week. So last night, getting up here in front of a bunch of people doing a full rock show, you felt rusty for the first 4 or 5 songs, but it just kind of feels normal after that.
Like riding a bicycle, as they say. Is it nice to hear humans again?
Yes. It's kind of, I think it's part of what we all fall in love with as musicians anyway. It's just one of the best parts of the job. So it's cool. And they get to honk their horns too. And that's always fun to hear. It's a very different thing than we're used to, but it seems to be working for a lot of people right now. So I'm glad to see it happening here in Maine.
Which is in thanks to John Moore. He's the owner who's been in the cinema industry since he was 17. He built the cinema in 1995 and has been renovating it 1 theater at a time. This is the 4th year as a drive-in movie theater, but the first one as a concert venue.
Did you ever think in your wildest dreams when you broke ground here to remodel that this would be happening?
No. I mean, I threw so much at the wall and hoped something would stick. I got a lot of rejections. But, then, kind of after a while, Ghost said they'd do it. And then once that went pretty well, then Rustic came in and the Mallett boys came in. And people were so happy to be outside. I mean, it was just, they were just happy. It's great to work when there's no bitching, no carping. It's like you're out there, and people are happy to see you.
It's not hard to find Moore at the venue. He's diligently orbiting, talking with people whose pods are too close, checking in with the band, his security guard, and the tech crew.
So are you super stressed?
Nobody wants that to come back on them, someone getting sick, and I'm a little bit older than I used to be, so I don't want to get sick. I don't want my staff to get sick. But I also think we're outside. Maine has a very low rate. We're very diligent. Could something happen? Something can happen anywhere, right? I mean, we know that. But outside, spread apart like this, always a good breeze through here, I mean, we can't completely stop living. I think that's the bottom line.
The drive-in has hosted Maine's biggest names. The ghost of Paul Revere broke in the stage, and even Bob Marley, a Maine comedian, has performed here. But Luke and his band were waiting a bit, playing it safe.
When all this came down, we were very quick to be like, we're not going to be the first kids in the pool for any of it. We kind of wanted to we weren't really in a rush to get back at it. We're still not. We're doing a few things. They're very scattered. They're all outdoor. Anything we're saying yes to is kind of outdoor gigs with not a lot of people.
For Moore, safety and social distance is the key to making this work. There is a 55-car max capacity with 4 people to a car. But it's only natural for people to want to get close and talk and dance.
So for social distancing, you see how everybody's podded up into nice groups, and then you've got this little bit of pod where there's 2 or 3 cars that are coming together. So that's what we're going to change at the break. We'll ask them to go to their individual cars and keep that separation. And then what we'll ultimately do, I get up on the roof, and I'll take a picture down from above so that I can actually see how it's separated from above, an aerial shot. And that's how I do it. I'm OCD this way on this issue. So it's served us well so far, so we're going to keep doing it.
Up next, Luke talks about his song, Lighter, and then we'll hang out with the guys in the green room before they take the stage.
Joe and his dad are on Shakedown Street at Bonnaroo. The Tennessee sun is blazing, and Joe is beaming.
Eyes wide open, and there's vendors, just overwhelmed with there's so much potential here for me to explore. That first impression was, wow, this is going to be something.
And they're thirsty.
Very ready to have an ice cold beer. I've got a tie-dye on. as does my dad. I'm just starting to grow my hair out, and I got some hemp necklaces that I probably made. That smell of mud and hay, straw that's, permeating the air. And my dad just spotted it, the tap handle on a kegerator, and was like, look, bud, they got Fat Tire. And I was like, okay, it's a beer. I'm not familiar. And he's familiar with it. He's like, no, we got to stop and drink one of these. That's what fathers and sons, that's what they want, right? Where it's like, all right, son, now the training wheels come off. Here's the good stuff.
They walk up to the keg, and in true friendly festival form, they're offered 2 cold ones.
Particularly excited that it was on tap.
They marvel at the perfect pour.
When you're watching it fill, especially when you're thirsty and in the sun, it's like kind of licking your lips a little in anticipation. And then I just distinctly remember taking the first sip. It's got like the right amount of carbonation, and it was cold, it was crisp, and it was, fresh. It just really struck me. The flavor, the maltiness of it, hearty, comforting taste, and it was like a biscuit.
It was love at first Fat Tire.
And it was like, I loved it. I'm in on it now. Now I get it. I think every time I've had a Fat Tire, I recall that first moment, and there's, I guess, a reverence.
Relive your first Fat Tire with a cold one from Drizzly or from a local retailer near you.
Well, I love your new single, Lighter.
Thank you.
What's that all about?
It has this whole burn everything down and start over kind of vibe to it. So I think we just kind of took that and ran. It seemed topical all of a sudden.
It's becoming sadly clear that the concert industry is like a phoenix. Things are burning down, and we have to just stay busy to rebuild.
The people I'm most worried about are the venues, even more than the musicians, because we're all used to living on nothing anyway. And generally our overhead is kind of low. Like, we've got a van payment and we've got to pay rent at our space, and we've got to try and pay each other ourselves sometimes. But these venues, the independent venues are just, it's terrifying what's happening to them. And we've already seen our favorite, one of our favorite rooms, Port City Music Hall, has gone under. The building's up for lease right now. We've been telling everybody, I'm a big advocate of the NIVA, the National Independent Venue Association, is doing a bunch of stuff as far as lobbying goes. They've got their website set up so that you can just click a button and sign a letter, and they'll send it to all the important people. And that's really, I think, what they need. I think they just need some support from on high right now.
Their fans are helping the band sustain a living.
They've been crazy supportive, not just in the live streams, which what we have done for live streams, everything has been by donation or tip jar kind of stuff. We're not charging people to watch that stuff online. So we're grateful that people are willing to throw down for that. They've been more than happy to tip us online and pay for all the new t-shirts. And that's huge. That's huge for us.
Okay, so I'm with Fran and Bob. You guys are super fans. And how does it feel to be at a Mallett Brothers show for the first time in how many months?
Well, when's the last show we saw? In February at the Moose Alley
in Rangeley.
And it's kind of surreal.
It is surreal, yeah.
So real. We haven't seen the boys, which they're family. And so it's really good to see everybody and see them.
It's such good energy, music, and it just renews my soul so much. And to finally be able to see this, I'm pumped.
And you don't even care if it's in this situation with a car and distant.
Absolutely not.
Well, we wouldn't go to a bar to see them.
Yeah, I wouldn't go inside.
Yeah.
Definitely, because she's been battling cancer, and thank God she's cancer-free, and she's a miracle. So we're going to celebrate that tonight.
So if you were to tell someone who's never heard of Mallett Brothers before, what would you say about their music and about their live show?
Well, see it live. There's nothing like the live performance, and it's so unbelievably energizing.
and the camaraderie, the friendship. It goes back to our Grateful Dead days. The people, the friends, these are people we just know from the Mallett Brothers. And these are friends for life from going to Mallett Brothers show.
Love that.
Thank you very much.
You.
We want to go party.
On the venue side of things, there hasn't been a profit, but rather an investment.
We're new to this, so I don't have a playbook of how to do this. We just kind of do what we think is right, and hopefully make it a players. Just listen to this for just a second.
We pause to listen to the band announce a message from their sponsor.
We appreciate Kyle Insurance for helping put it on the show tonight.
Yeah. From my standpoint, we really won't hit the stride until we can sell a couple beers at night.
For now, John will take the gamble and trust bands and fans will keep coming back for more. And when the beer starts to flow, his $75,000 stage will earn its keep.
So this is basically like a normal weekend for us. It's probably the first normal business weekend that we've had since March. So you got to find other ways. And so far, it's a really good alternative.
Luke heads off to get ready for the show, and I walk around the lot to take in the atmosphere. It feels a lot like a musical version of a football tailgate. Cars and trucks are decked out, screaming personality. I even noticed someone has brought their kitchen table and chairs. Fans are definitely embracing the situation.
So, technically speaking, drive-ins pump in the audio through the car speakers. Was that in play originally?
It was. That's a good question, because originally that's the way we thought. Oh, we'll just, we won't have to do a big PA system. We'll just listen to it. Not the way to do it. I mean, if you want to have live music, it's got to be live, and it's got to be, as we go down, as the night goes on, this is going to get a little louder. They're going to crank it up. Jack brought his A game, so we'll have him turn it up even more as the night goes on. We have a hard deadline of 10 o'clock. But there's nothing like live music, right? It needs to be live. I don't think it needs to be coming through. Someone who's, is safety secure, they can be in their car, rolls down their windows, be still isolated, enjoy the concert, but still be in their vehicle.
Moore did not intend for his cinema to be a drive-in concert venue, but he thinks that once COVID passes, it could be a legitimate mid-level venue.
So yeah, once this is all over, we'll be able to have 500 people in here, and it'll be fun. And then we'll be able to live stream it.
I catch up with the band backstage, aka The Woods, where their vintage conversion van is doubling as their dressing room. I have to stop myself from poking my head in to check out the retro interior because, COVID has you questioning people's personal space at all times now. But the boys are hanging out, smoking doobs, making jokes, and genuinely enjoying the moment. These are the kind of guys you could hang out with all frickin' night.
How are you feeling?
Oh, so excited. So happy to be gigging again.
That's Will Mallett, Luke's younger brother, who slays the electric.
Is this like the coolest green room ever? We're out in the woods.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
We prefer it.
This is your happy place?
And just playing a show outside in general, too. Usually in the summer, we're doing it all the time. And so we kind of get used to it. And this year, we haven't been doing as much, obviously. So just... yeah, being outside, turning the amps up.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big thing. Putting something on right now, it's a tall order, I think he's doing a really good job, though. I'm stoked to see it going so smooth.
What's the first song out of the gate, boys?
The Irene, our fishing song. Playing a fishing song in the mountains.
I join them down the hill towards the screen. There's no opening band tonight unless you count the summer crickets. The band does a final check-in with each other. I can sense the giddiness. They take that energy and walk out onto the stage.
Hello, Farmington. How are we doing tonight? All right, we're the Mallett Brothers Band, and it's good to be here tonight. So get ready to party.
Ocean Sound and Lighting, the tech crew for this venue, has nailed it. The sound is booming, and they've rigged up multiple cameras to project different angles of the band onto the huge screen behind them. I can immediately tell that the band and fans are back in cruise control, finding their lane again, dancing and happy. Since the ghost of Paul Revere first took the stage here, Moore has removed a row of cars in the front to maximize the sightlines and to have a small patch of grass for friends and family of the band to dance on. I see two girls twirling around and overhear one of them say how they're out of shape. And I must admit, I'm having a hard time striking up conversation with them like I normally would at a concert. Rather than just walking up to them, I throw on my mask, wave to get their attention, and hand them a separate microphone to get their feelings on everything going down.
I just heard you're out of dancing shape.
I am. It's been a long COVID summer.
How does it feel to be dancing right now?
Oh, it feels so good. Live music outside, August night. It couldn't get much better than this.
How many times have you seen these guys?
A lot. I don't even know. We live up in Carrabassett Valley, and they used to play up there all the time before COVID, so we're missing them.
So this will be a memorable one, huh?
Oh, yeah. This is awesome. And, you know, it's almost like you have your own little space and nobody can infiltrate your bubble. It's kind of like the perfect scenario. So I love driving concerts.
Their energy inspires me to dance too. I take off my shoes to feel the grass between my toes, to feel the sonic vibrations, to feel the impermanence. Being removed from people was an adjustment, but for the most part, the music does its job. It allows me to temporarily be in the moment, remove the COVID stress, and what this experience reflects. I open my eyes and remind myself that this is just a detour, and a pleasant one at that.
But I'm seeing lights along the river, and I'm traveling all on my own. Seeing smoke up in the sky, there's a gleam here in my eye, I'm coming home.
Little things that go a long way. Donate to NEVA, the National Independent Venue Association, to save our stages. And buy some merch and music at mallettbrothersband.com. Special thanks to New Belgium Brewing Company, Victoria Schnauder, Oliver Burkett, Joe Biglin, and to our resident mastermind, Mark Tuckashan. Editor and engineer is Peter McGill. Supervising producers are Heidi Stanton-Drew, Alex Halke, and Xenia Rocco. Special thanks to Luke Mallett, John Moore, Pepper Little, Amy Charlie, Cara Romano, Eddie Contento, Jesse Kudo, and thank you for listening.
But I'm seeing lights